Hey guys, welcome back to the kitchen. Today is the start of a new series where I've paired up with WeightWatchers to bring you some truly delicious and healthy recipes. Today's is one of my favorites. It's a perfect brunch dish. It's a wonderful shakshuka. It's also really good for a quick, easy lunch. To start off with, we're going to take an onion and just roughly slice it. So top and tail the onion, cut it in half, and then just peel the skin. And then we're just going to cut it into slices. And then we're going to do the exact same with our pepper. So just chop off the top and the bottom, and then we're going to take out the core and then cut through. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut nice, straight little pieces like this. And all we're going to do is add a tiny bit of oil to our pan. We're using a spray oil. And then over a low, medium heat, we're going to cook that for about 5-10 minutes until that's nice and translucent. So whilst they're cooking, we're going to add some more flavour in the form of a red chilli for a bit of heat, and then some garlic to give that really delicious underlying flavour. So just peel the garlic, and then we're going to roughly chop that, and then we're going to do the same with the chilli. It's up to you whether you leave the seeds in or not. If you want a little bit more heat, you can leave those in. Otherwise, you can obviously just remove them, and it'll be a little bit more mellow of a dish. The benefit of making a dish like this is it's really adaptable. You can add all sorts of things to it in the form of pulses if you want to kind of add more bulk to it, or even a little bit of chorizo if you want to add a little bit of that kind of spicy, meaty flavour as well. Obviously, if you are going to add some chorizo to the dish, that will add a few extra smart points to it. So the onions don't need too much attention, but do give them a stir every now and again just to stop them sticking to the pan and for getting too brown. If you really want to take this dish's flavour really far up, what you can do is take your pepper, put it on top of an open flame and leave it until it's really nice black and charred. Then pop it in a bowl, put some cling film over the top to let it sweat, and then just peel off those black bits, adding a really amazing smoky flavour. As these onions start to add a little bit of colour, we can take our red chilli and our garlic, just slice that into the pan. Just going to let that cook for a couple of minutes just to take the raw edge off the garlic. And then what we're going to do is add all of our flavourings in there. Obviously, you can adapt this to your preferences, so you can make it really spicy or really mellow depending on what sort of flavour you prefer. So for our flavourings, we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons each of cumin and also 1.5 teaspoons of ground coriander. And then along with that, we're also going to add 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. Now we just want to cook that just for a minute or two, just to take off that raw edge of the spices and just to cook out that tomato puree just a little bit. Now all we need to do is take a tin of tomatoes and add that to our mix. Just give that a nice stir through. And then we're also going to fill up the can with water and add that to the pan as well. So once everything is added, we can turn the heat down to a nice low simmer and let it cook until it becomes really nice and saucy, so it's thick enough that we can pop some eggs on top. Once the dish has been cooking for about 10 to 15 minutes, the best way to tell if it's ready for the eggs is just to move the sauce around. If when you kind of pull the spoon through the sauce, it instantly goes back together like water, it needs cooking till it's a little bit thicker. But if it kind of holds its shape for a second or two, it's perfect. To give some brightness to the dish, we're going to add about 1 to 2 teaspoons of red wine vinegar, and then we're also going to add just a little bit of chopped parsley. So just roughly chop this, stir that in to the dish, and then what we're going to do is crack in our eggs, level out the sauce, and then kind of make a little hole for each egg, and then just very gently crack the egg into those wells. It's easier if you get really nice and close to the sauce so that the yolk doesn't break. And then just repeat that with each one. So once our eggs are in, we're just going to pop a lid onto the sauce and then turn the heat down to a really nice low simmer. So after about 5 to 6 minutes, our egg whites will just be set and the egg yolks are really nice and still really beautifully liquid in the middle. But we're going to take it to another level by adding a little bit of feta and loads more parsley to really amp up the flavour. So one of the things I love about this dish is you can just take the pan straight to the table and everybody can dig in. My favourite way of eating it is just scooping it out with some wonderful sourdough bread, dipping it straight into that deliciously runny yolk. So I hope you enjoyed that dish. It's one of my absolute favorites. If you want the full recipe, you can find it below the video. And don't forget, this is just the first in a 4-part series, so make sure to come back every Friday this month for another delicious, healthy recipe.